Hello there folks, this is Sandy from Talk of Thailand, and this last week has been a bit of an endurance test for me. Let me tell you, I was arrested at the immigration office this week and in quite serious trouble, and I was lucky that this hadn't happened to me in Bangkok or maybe somewhere else in Thailand, because actually I could have been facing a long-term imprisonment and I could have been facing deportation as well, for something that I wasn't even aware of. But maybe I was just a bit green or unfortunate, but I think if you're interested you should watch this, and I hope that nobody else gets caught in the same as I did. Thank you. Okay, let me start by explaining. When you go to have your, when you go for your 90-day reporting, as you've got to do every 90 days, obviously, and they check you in, they check your address is still the same. They put a paper in your passport telling you what your next reporting date is, which is very convenient to look up and check. But that can change easily, because if you fly out of Thailand and then for any reason at all, and then later you fly back in again, your reporting date is 90 days from the date that you arrived back in the airport. And that's what kind of threw me off, actually, because I've done that on many occasions, because I used to travel before the pandemic. I used to travel in and out fairly regularly, actually, and it caught me out, and it caught me out big style this week, and let me tell you why. Because last February, about the 5th of February, my marriage visa needed to be renewed, which I currently did. I started the process in January. It takes about 3 weeks to do, and I had to report back to the immigration office actually on the 8th of February to get my visa put in my passport. Okay, good. That's it. I got another 1-year visa and very happy. So I came home. Then I knew the dates that I was concerned with, so I'd worked it out that my next 90-day reporting would be from the date that my visa was put in my passport, and that would have been either the 5th, which the visa was dated, or the 8th, which was when I collected it from the immigration office here in Thailand. So working it out, 90 days was this week anyway, and I thought around about this week. So I set off down to immigration on Wednesday morning with my passport, etc. But before I went, I looked at the paper that was in there from my last reporting date, and that was way out of date. That said I should have reported to the immigration office on the 13th of February this year. Well, I knew that I'd had a new visa slightly before that, so that paper, as far as I was concerned, was out of date. I was wrong. It wasn't out of date, actually. It transpired that I should have still have reported to the immigration office by the 13th of February. Even though I was there on the 8th of February, I should have reported to the 90-day section on the 13th of February. I could have done it actually when I picked my passport up on the 8th of February. It would have been easy just to walk across to the other desk and get it all done then, and get another 90-day reporting date, which would have been sometime last week. So what actually happened was I got down there on the Wednesday, and because of the pandemic, everybody's got to queue out in the car park. They collect it for the simple ones like 90-day reporting. They collect your passport from you, and they take it inside, and then you sit outside and wait for it to come back out again. Well, I saw there was a lot of people waiting, and I saw a lot of passports disappearing into the office, so I sat down and thought, okay, I'm in for a little bit of a wait here, and sat back. It was a hot day, but with the shades that they'd put up, it was okay, it was bearable. What shocked me is about 15 minutes later, an immigration officer and a police officer came out, and they shouted out my number, because when you take your passport, they give you a number. So I went up to the immigration. I stood up and I walked up to this police officer and immigration officer, and I showed them my number. And they said, "You are an overstay. You're illegal in Thailand, and we want to know why. Come with us, please." And the immigration officer led the way, followed by me, followed by the police officer. And they led me into the immigration office and sat me down in front of the 90-day reporting counter, and said, "Right, okay," and they gave me a number that when it came up on the board, I was to go to the desk and speak to the man at the desk. But I was told that under no circumstances was I to try and leave the office. I had no intention to. Actually, I got quite afraid. I thought, what's all this about? I haven't done anything wrong. So anyway, in due course, after about 15 minutes, I got called forward to the desk, and the man just looked at me and shook his head, and he pointed his finger at me and said, "You are a very, very lucky man." I said, "Why? I don't understand." They said, "Why didn't you come back and report on the 13th of February as you were supposed to?" I said, "But I did. In fact, I said I was in these offices on the 8th of February. So I reported then." He said, "You reported to the new visa section." He said, "You didn't report to the 90-day reporting section." I said, "Well, I didn't know I had to. I thought it would be automatic." He said, "Nothing's automatic here," he said, "in this building. We're all different sections, and some of us don't like other people here, and we don't talk to each other, and we don't know anything. It's up to you to make sure that you keep your visa affairs in order." He says, "Do you understand?" And he went on and explained the rules to me, that when they put a paper in my passport, that is the date I've got to report here to the immigration office, that is the date I've got to report here to the immigration office. Unless, of course, as I previously said, you fly out of Thailand and you fly back in again, then it's 90 days from the date on your arrival card that they put in your passport at the airport. He says, "Do you now understand that?" I said, "Yes." I said, "But I didn't really know." He said, "Well," he said, "let me tell you," he said, "you could have been, if you were arrested in Bangkok," he said, "you could have been deported. You could be subject to a minimum fine of 5,000 bahts." He says, "and or 3 months imprisonment." He says, "So think about that. Think just how lucky you've been today." With that, he stuck a new piece of paper in my passport saying that I had to report again the 2nd of August. And he smiled at me and said, "Please don't forget the next time." "Cop cum crap, thank you very much," I said, and made my way out the office with my tail between my legs. But it was something that I didn't know, and maybe the people watching this do know. So I hope so, and if you don't know, then please take it on board. That is the rules, and I was lucky that they were in a good mood that day. Thank you for watching, and take care. Bye for now.